Hello and welcome back to All Things Money. I'm your host, David Blain. During this final segment today, as I alluded to in the last segment, we're going to talk about what is the middle class, or who is the middle class in America. And I was talking about how recently in the media, of course, the political parties, everybody wants to help the middle class and nobody wants to hurt the middle class. And every policy out there seems to be designed for this nebulous middle class. And we talked a little bit about how middle class in different places means different things. And so, fortunately for me, a gentleman by the name of Dante Cini, I think I'm saying that right, a writer of Politics Counts, had a piece in the Wall Street Journal a couple weeks ago entitled, "Who is Middle Class Anyway?" And it was like this guy was thinking exactly what I was thinking and went out and did all the research for me. So we're going to mostly present his findings, and you can go to the journal and look it up if you want. But he did all the legwork. But this is a question maybe some of you have had as well. If you look at middle class, does not mean what it used to. I mean, middle class maybe, I don't know, in the 40s or 50s, maybe it was a very tight segment where you still had a huge working class, factory workers and things like that. And then you had, of course, the, Rockefellers and Fords and things like that. Maybe it did mean something. But today, it's not urban, it's not suburban. You have poor people in the suburbs, you have poor people in the cities, you have wealthy people in the cities, you have wealthy people in the suburbs. It's really very difficult to define. And so, looking just at let's start with the median household income. So nationally, the median household income, let's talk about median. The median is, if you line up all 50 states, the median would be the 25 and a half states. You take the average of 25 and 26 states, that's the median. Okay, an average is you add up all the data points and you divide by 50. Now, the average can be significantly skewed by high or low data points. So, for example, the average of 0 and 100 is 50. Is that really descriptive? If you have somebody that makes nothing and somebody that makes $100, is 50 really a good descriptor? Maybe not. So the median with a lot of data points sometimes helps out. Well, anyway, so the median in the U.S. is $51,027. Just kind of a side point. Whenever you hear about statistics, keep that in mind. When someone talks about the average of anything, you should always look at the average and the median to if you were questioning the statistics. And in this particular case, when looking at aggregate income statistics, median is generally understood to be a better representation of the population. Anyway, so the median is $51,000. At the state level, Mississippi has the lowest at $39,078. Maryland is number one at $67,469. So that's a difference of more than $28,000. So the middle class in Mississippi earns 39. The middle class, or I shouldn't say middle class, the median income in Mississippi is 39. The median income in Maryland is 67. And so that's a huge, huge difference. Some of the other top and bottom, we see the other top states: Maryland, New Hampshire, Connecticut, New Jersey, Massachusetts. All pretty liberal states, by the way. Mississippi, at the bottom, we see Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Montana, and South Carolina. Now, even within the states, if you go down to the county level, it gets just even more fascinating. For example, in Mississippi, remember Mississippi had the lowest at $39,000. The median household in Holmes County, Mississippi, is $22,000. One county over, the next county, Madison, Mississippi, is $59,730. So even within the same state, right next to each other, the median income 60, the next county over, median income 22. Who's the middle class? At the high end, the same thing. We see in Maryland, Montgomery County has a median household income of more than $95,000. Once again, if you get out your atlas and look up Montgomery County, Maryland, you will see that it has this nice long border that is adjacent to the District of Columbia. Now, there's not necessarily a river there, but there is a big river of money flowing from the district right over there into Montgomery County as well. It's awful. Anyway, back to what we're talking about. Montgomery County, median income over $95,000. Allegheny County, Maryland, median income $35,000. So there's a $60,000 difference between the high and the low median county in Maryland. Who's the middle class? And so those are just the midpoints. If you're looking at, okay, so that's the midpoint. If you say, well, forget about the top 20% and forget about the bottom 20%, you're left with what? The middle 60% of a data point. If you start looking at the ranges of that middle 60% of income in these places, it really gets fascinating. So, for example, the middle 60% in Manhattan, the bottom end of that middle class group is $20,171. The top end is $171,942. So you have a $150,000 difference within the middle 60% incomes in New York City. The same thing over there in my home county of Fairfax, Virginia. Once again, suburban Virginia, right across the border there. The bottom of the middle class is $52,184. The bottom of the middle class is $52,000. The top would be $194. That's also a range of $142,000. So when you start talking about the middle class and who's the middle class, you really got to dig into the data to figure out who things are helping. And so when you talk about, well, we're going to help the middle class families, we're going to raise the minimum wage by $1.75 an hour to $9 an hour, you think, okay, someone middle class in Fairfax County that makes $194,000 a year, or New York where they make $171,000, is that really going to help those folks? And do they really deserve to be called middle class? Well, that's a question that we're not going to be able to finish today because we're out of time. So next week, maybe we'll continue talking about who is the middle class. So for All Things Money, I'm your host, David Blain. I hope that you will come back and join us again next week.
The proceeding was a paid program. The opinions expressed are not necessarily those of WNBU and Inner Banks Media.